Hi, I just have a question about rollover miles. I was looking. Oh, look at it. Still 163 minutes remaining. Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about a subject that I really dread about, but I get a lot of questions regarding this. I don't know why. And people always ask me advice for it, so I'm just going to try to address a couple of points that I've learned. And you could take it or leave it because everyone has a different point of view on this subject. It's about education and school. I actually made a couple of notes just so I won't ramble on. I'm just gonna slightly touch on high school because it's actually been a very long time since, I was in high school. So things could change, but when I was in high school and then when I was done with high school, I kind of thought, oh, maybe I should have been a little bit smarter and maybe I should have kind of enjoyed high school a little bit more. I was the really quiet type. I wouldn't talk to anyone in class. Like, I would just shut up and sit in the corner and, I wouldn't even really listen to teachers. I would just kind of be like doodling around or just kind of wishing that I wasn't there. But when you're in high school, you don't have to be the cool one, or you don't have to be like in the clique or whatnot. You just need to make good friends because usually high school friends last a very long time and you're not that jaded yet. So, there's not going to be a lot of differences between you and your peers. So high school is definitely the time to make a lot of friends. This is a point that I want to make. When you make friends, do not make fun of the smart kids or the nerdy kids, and instead try to hang out with the smarter kids. Smarter meaning those who actually have their goals, their ambitions, they know what they're going to do after high school, they know where they want to get in life, and then those that are driven to actually achieve that goal. Now they could be all cool and smart, or they could be really nerdy and awkward and smart. Just try to tolerate those people and try to hang around them because they're the ones who have the most information about what they're going to do or how they're going to achieve their goals. And I'm not trying to say, oh, use those people, but if you kind of hang around those smart people, you're kind of going to get a sense of what you should do too. And they're actually, those kind of people are really motivating. So don't think of them as like boring or not cool or, that awkward Asian or whatnot. But just kind of, try to befriend them. And it's going to go a long way. If you already have college in mind in high school, it's better to be in the smarter group than to be in the cool group, because cool is not going to get you a long way. And being cool in high school really means pretty much nothing. But being smart actually takes you a very long way. And going to the best school within your ability actually kind of, it's like laying down tiles of the road that's going to lead you down your life, and you don't want to screw up from the beginning. So always just try to make the best of what you do within your abilities. Not everyone is going to be able to go to Harvard, or not everyone is going to be able to go to an Ivy League school, but if you're able to aim at a certain school, then try to go there. And if you know you can make it there, then go there. And don't lowball yourself or don't discourage yourself and just go to like a school near my house, or a school because the tuition is cheap, or a school because my boyfriend goes there. That's kind of like the stupid reasons to choose a school. You choose a school that would A, suit you, and B, that would challenge you, and C, that is at the highest of your ability. Was I a smart person? No. I was just kind of like the awkward, really silent emo kid. Here's a trivia. There's a guru. You guys are probably gonna know her, Miss Jackie Chu. Actually, Miss Jackie Chu and I went to the same high school. I don't think our years overlapped or whatnot, but yeah, I was talking to her once and kind of figured that we went to the same high school. College is kind of like a place where everyone from every place comes, and then you're gonna start meeting all these weird people that are not really your cup of tea. But don't ever judge someone just by their first impressions or what you think of them, or any stereotypical method, because you could really regret it. Now for college, what you have to do is, you know how people say, oh, like during your freshman year, I was all fired up and then my dad walks in. But, okay, jeez. Alright, so I was talking about freshman year. Oh, you know how people tell you like, oh, you could shop around during your freshman year, you don't really have to have everything figured out. But in my experience and by just observing like other friends or other people during college, you actually need to know what you're going to do after college. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose. Like let's say if you want to be a teacher, then that's fine. If you want to go get a regular corporate job, that's fine. You want to be a banker, you want to be a lawyer, you want to go to law school, you want to be a doctor, or you know, you just want to be a traveler, or you want to be a YouTuber, it's fine, but you have to know what your goal is, because if you do not have a goal or if you do not know what you're going to do, that is a huge problem. And the thing is, why? Because by the time you reach like your sophomore or junior year and you're like, maybe I'll just change my mind. I mean, if you're planning to go to college for like 5 years, 6 years, then maybe that's okay. But changing your mind, changing your majors, yeah, it's easily said than done. And your whole system kind of changes. So in my opinion, you really have to know what you want to do during your first year of college. Like for example, this kind of ties into like my whole point of what I'm going to say later, but during my first year of college, I was actually a pre-med student. My mom was sick, and during that time, it was like really, really tough times for everyone in my family. I was like, all right, like this is my limit. I do not have the ability to work under such great pressure and so much emotional stress. I can't do this. Like, how am I going to be a doctor when I can't even handle this kind of stress? So, you know, like things kind of changed, and I changed my major and I changed to poli-sci. It was just kind of like, oh, maybe I'll just do this, or maybe I'll just go to law school, which I really didn't really have in mind. But, you know, that kind of made me not really have a clear path of what I wanted to do. And after graduation, it's just kind of like, all right, I didn't prepare myself to get into any government agency or some foreign policy organization. So, oh well, I guess I'll have to work. And then being in New York, most of the options is you either have to be a banker, you have to be a consultant, or you have to be, you know, or you have to be like a law school student. And then the other part is like you either have to be in fashion or like entertainment or whatnot. But you know, I barely had any options. And whenever I went to interviews, people would be like, why poli-sci? Why did you pick poli-sci? And I didn't really have an answer for that. If you do not have an answer for what kind of major you're doing, then you really have to rethink why you're choosing that major. You just can't say, oh, because it's easy or because it sounds cool, you know. You have to have a reason for everything. And that being said, what my roommate told me when I was in college was, she was like, you have to do what you're good at rather than what you want to do. And that was my problem. I wanted to become a doctor when I was not really that good at handling pressure or, you know, just keeping up with all the work. So you have to do what you're really good at rather than what you want to do, because you know, people usually long to do stuff that they're not really good at because, you know, it's just something that they're unable to do. They just want to go do it. You shouldn't really do it like that. You should be, you know, if you're good at drawing and you feel like you have that creative talent, you should not be sitting in, I don't know, like an econ class or like a math class. Go out and like do like your creative degree. And if you feel like you're really good at math, but you don't want to be called a nerd, so you decided to get like a major in, I don't know, in like fashion or something that's pretty much unrelated to math, then you're kind of wasting your talent. So always try to pick something that suits your abilities and that will help you. That being said, when you choose a major, just try to get a practical major. I have nothing against philosophy majors. I myself wanted to do philosophy as a major because I just find philosophy fascinating. And I was talking to, yet again, my roommate, and I was like, hey, what do you think if I do philosophy? And she was like, I think that's good for a minor, or maybe you could just take several courses. But will that help you to get a job or further on in life unless you get a PhD in philosophy and you teach at school? And then I was just kind of thinking, yeah, like she's right. It's not really that practical of a major. So, you know, pick your major. I really kicked myself after graduating why I didn't pick econ. I just thought poli-sci would be easier, and by choosing the easier track, I kind of didn't really have that many options after I graduated from school. So for those of you people who actually ask me, oh, is poli-sci a good major? Can you put it to use? If you want to go into the corporate world, especially like if you want to go into like banking, finance, or, you know, like accounting, you don't need a poli-sci major. What are you doing in poli-sci? Go get yourself a practical major. If you want to go into foreign policy, or if you want to go to law school, or if you want to go into some sort of international organization, then of course get a poli-sci degree. It just depends on what track you're looking at. My main point is just do well in school and try to get into like the best school you can, because school names actually take you very far after graduation. For instance, when I was looking for a job, most of the positions that I applied to really had nothing to do with poli-sci, but I almost always got a call back because I have a good school name on my resume, and you know, it just intrigues people and they automatically assume that you'll do pretty well. So school names, I think, actually really carry a lot of value. And then when you get into your good school, just try to keep up your GPA and try to be practical and know what you're good at instead of what you want to do. Alright, that was about it. I'm sorry I was all over the place. I tend to ramble when I'm talking about school because I actually have a lot to say, but I'm just trying to contain myself and give you guys very ambiguous points. But take it or leave it. That was just my advice, and I don't know, I might never talk about school again because I really don't like talking about it. But for those of you who are in school, good luck, have good grades, and enjoy your school days, because after that it's hell.